the sinful man within us and the spiritual inner man within us. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God, for pulling down strongholds, casting down arguments, and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. The sinful man within us, warring against the law of my spiritual mind and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin. Romans chapter 7 and verse 23. Yet 2 Corinthians chapter 5 describes our spiritual man as overthrowing our carnal mind and bringing those thoughts into captivity to the Christ man or the Christ consciousness. The impression is created of a constant battle with victories on both sides. In Romans chapter 7 the impression is given that the carnal man is winning, whilst in 2 Corinthians chapter 10 verses 2 to 5 paints the picture of the Christ man, the Christ consciousness, triumphant. To get this picture over, perhaps the Spirit used a spiritually depressed Paul in Romans chapter 7 and a triumphant Paul at the time of writing 2 Corinthians chapter 10. The natural man cannot possibly understand the love of Christ, but the Spirit, the inner man, can fully comprehend it. This failure of the natural man to understand the things of the Spirit is the basic reason for all divisions between genuine brethren. Time and again we are reminded of the fact that our fellowship with each other is due to the fact that we both have the spiritual man inside us. Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 18. Ephesians chapter 4 verses 3 and 4. See also Philippians chapter 1 verse 27 and chapter 2 and verse 1. Our spiritual man is not limited by the bonds of space. Thus Paul was boldly absent from Corinth, but present in spirit. 1 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 3. His spiritual man was present with them. It was the same with the Colossian church. I be absent in the flesh, yet I am with you in the spirit. Colossians chapter 2 and verse 5. When our spiritual man groans, Christ groans too in heaven, although a great distance away. See Romans chapter 8 verse 23, compare verse 26. There is no time barrier either. Thus our spiritual man is in close fellowship with the spirits of just men made perfect, having died many years ago. Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 23. This is the glorious unity of the Spirit. We are not just connected with all living saints, wherever they may be, but with the spiritual characters of all true saints throughout history. Whosoever believes that Jesus is the Christ is born of God. The first letter of John chapter 5 and verse 1. Our spiritual man is what is born of God. All true believers are here spoken of as if they are their spiritual man. All true believers in Christ therefore have a spiritual man within them, which we must seek out, even imagine at times, and with which we should fellowship.